Hi, good morning. It's a pleasure to be with brothers and sisters this morning. And I appreciate the CEO Fellowship invitation. And I respect Joe Green, a mentor figure for me, and all my teachers. All you are have so much to teach me, and I've learned a lot from you all over the years. As you know, CEO Fellowship is about broadcasting God's principles Monday through Friday. And that's what sets CEO Fellowship apart. Not just Sunday, but we want to implement that in our workplace. And today I want to talk about one specific topic. When Bob initially emailed me, and I said, oh, maybe I will talk about something about the eyes or something, or dancing. He said, no, we'd like you to talk about marketing. So I think it's such an important area today in business. And there are so many biblical principles we can implement in the process of marketing for our business. So I'd like to share the little bit I've learned today. And I'm sure I have a lot learned from you all in this area. So a few weeks ago, a very anomalous phenomenon occurred that Facebook overnight became a $100 billion company. Why I called it anomalous was because overnight Facebook, the value of Facebook has overtaken Disney, Ford Motors, GM, many other long-standing companies which have worked hard over a century. How could Facebook, a company over the short span of a few years, have become so explosively successful? I always feel that in life, when you see something very unusual, you like to learn something from it. So let's kind of think about what is it? Sets today's business, such as Facebook, different from yesterday's business. If you took at all the business of yesterday, IBM, Apple, GM, GE, Microsoft, and the business of today, which is Google and Facebook, and challenge yourself with one question. What is it? What's one of the fundamental differences between the business of yesterday and the business of today? There are many differences could come to mind, but one I will submit to you is perhaps yesterday's business, say Microsoft, makes software and sells software. Apple Computer makes Apple Computer and sells Apple Computer. But today's business, such as Google and Facebook, the very product that they actually sell, that they actually make, actually does not generate revenue. When IBM make a computer, sell the computer, makes money, but when Google provides search engine, it not only does not make money on the search engine per se, it actually costs money to maintain a search engine. While Microsoft makes a software to sell, Facebook, a social network, actually costs money to maintain. So the fundamental difference is that yesterday's business, if we call it direct business, if you will, actually makes money off the very product it offers. Today's business, you can call it indirect business, if you will, actually does not make money off the very product it actually sells. Actually costs money to maintain social network, maintain Google search engine. But yet, today's business makes money by advertisers. There was unprecedented need for all businesses to advertise today. That is the fundamental reason there was the emergence of new class of business. Its primary product does not generate income. It's the indirect product, if you will, is the advertiser on those sites. Drastically different from yesterday. So then let's challenge yourself with the next question. Why is it then? Why is it then that so many people want to advertise today than yesterday? I submit to you that perhaps one of the reasons is yesterday you have supply and demand. Today, you have supply and demand. The fundamental inversion of supply to demand ratio is the fundamental reason why marketing has assumed an unprecedented importance in most of business today. Because there are more people doing what you do than ever before. I bet, here's a CEO fellowship. We're all Christian businessmen and women. If we ask God, you say, God, if God said, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I will give you grant one wish to help you business. And if you imagine yourself, grab a piece of paper and write something down, one. God's just going to grant you one wish to help you business to be successful. What might that wish be? Only one, the most important to you, that you need the most help. I would say that probably most of us will not put down, how can I do my business better? Yes, it's important, but we have somewhat of control. How can I handle my finances within my practice or business? That's important, but we can have reasonable degree of control. But most of us, if we are challenged to pick one, the most important one today in 21st century human society in business, and I think many of us, perhaps majority of us, will pick on top of that list, bring me more clients. The challenge of yesterday was internal, how to make a product. The challenge of today is external, how to sell a product. So marketing has assumed unprecedented importance. So what are the challenges we face in order to do marketing? There's information overload. Noise level is very high, unprecedented high. There's so much information. And in Chinese, there's a saying that the higher the water level, the higher the boat must be in order to stay alive. But then we have to catch 22. How do you do marketing without money as business success, and how do you have business success without marketing? So what is the best way? Today my theme is, let's try to think out of the box and try to think about what is it that nobody else is doing that I might need to do in your own business. Be original, counter-trend, and be willing to travel on a road less traveled. So this is a summary slide. Those are the 5 pros I want to share with you. And by the way, I give in the handouts all the PowerPoint in type points in the handouts, so you don't have to make any notes. So first is be differentiated, which we'll talk about. Second is focus. Number 3, one message. Number 4, don't sell, educate. Number 5, tell a story rather than sell a product. And I want to share through my own personal experiences in working through these principles and what I've learned. And I will ask all of us to keep on thinking as you're going through this lecture, can this principle apply to my business? What is it that I want to do differently for my own business with that principle? So as we go along, I would like to challenge all of us, keep on thinking, active, apply to your own business. So the first one, be differentiated. So first of all, what is the definition of differentiation? A definition of differentiated message is that if just the name of the business is substituted, it no longer works. So for example, you do what Bob Susi is doing, financial consulting, he could put up, say, we have expert financial consulting, Bob Cersei. Now, that is not a differentiated message because I can replace Bob Cersei with John Smith. That message still works. The test for a differentiated message is that where you simply replace the name of the business, that whole message no longer works. It is so personal to you that you cannot just simply substitute by the name of another business. As Christian business leaders, we have our own distinct differentiation. And we need to keep in mind, once we start on the road of less traveled, reminding ourselves our fundamental definition. Our definition starts with faith. Well, how it's applied to business is, I think one of the fundamental consequences of having faith is, even if no other human beings watching, one of the early things I learned from Joe Green is with a dinner when I initially joined the CEO Fellowship, and I asked him, I said, what is the fundamental difference? And he said, that is when even nobody else is watching me in a business transaction. If I truly have faith, I know God is watching me. So there's a fundamental sense of accountability and honesty. That's our differentiation. Even though we're different, but we also are the same in the sense that we all draw power, inspiration from God. So that's our differentiation as Christian business leaders, CEO Fellowship. Corinthians 12 says there are different gifts, but the same Spirit. There are different ministries, but the same Lord. And there are different activities, but the same Lord is active in everyone and everything. A manifestation of Spirit is given to each person to produce what is beneficial. The benefit of differentiation. First of all, differentiation cannot be duplicated. As I said, if it's truly differentiated, you cannot just substitute the business name by another. The message no longer works. Today, the noise level is so high, if your message is differentiated, and then you can rise above the noise level of being heard, because consumers have more choices than ever before. When the message is differentiated, when you talk to your staff, your employee, it is inspiring, because that sets us apart from other businesses. The most motivational aspect of differentiation can never be underestimated. Differentiated business lasts longer because you have distinct differentiation. It's difficult to be replaced, so you have longer longevity. So before we look for differentiated ideas, let's look at what are not differentiated ideas. So let's pause for a moment in your own business. We'll challenge ourselves that what are the businesses that this message we're being broadcasting is really not differentiated. So what are the not differentiated ideas? Quality and customer satisfaction. Today is so competitive in business that we used to think, well, if I just offer good quality service, I'm differentiated. No, not necessarily, because it is assumed to be there now. If you're not even going to offer basic good customer service, one should not be even a business to begin with. Is a creativity a differentiated idea? No. I cannot tell you how many times as I was designing an ad for the medical practice, the advertising agency says, oh, we should put this fancy color, we should look at this design. That will set your practice apart. I said, no. The formality, the format of presentation, however creative it is not differentiated. It's the content. Because the competitors can put fancy colors. What are differentiated ideas? Is price? No. Because if you want to go down the drain of keep on pricing wars, somebody else can be cheaper. So that's not differentiated. Is the breadth of a product a differentiated idea? No, because if you offer a wider range of product, the lesser differentiated you will be. Then how do you find your differentiation then? So let's think about now, what is in my business which are true differentiated ideas? It's so differentiated that once the name of the business is substituted, it no longer works. So let's go through the 4 steps, how you actually find a differentiation. First, you have to do research. The differentiated idea in Nashville is different from a differentiated business idea in Los Angeles. It's only in the context. So you have to do research of what is the need in this market. And then once you find out the context, you have to define your differentiation. You have to think very hard. Differentiation requires sacrifice. Differentiation requires substance. So you have to think very hard. What is it that differentiates you? And as I said, it has to be based on substance. At the end of the day, if the differentiation comes from untruthful facts, it's not going to last. Proverbs 12:17 says, a truthful witness gives honest testimony, but a false witness tells lies. So people are more apt to follow us and support our business if they know we have demonstrated to be honest and trustworthy. And final step is you got to communicate. That's one of the barriers that as businessmen and women that we have to overcome today. Used to be, we think, if we're good enough, I don't have to broadcast it. That's an outdated concept. Yesterday's business, you sit in a castle, people will come to you. Today's business, that's internal. Today's business challenge is external. You have to communicate. If you're shy about broadcasting your business and you think you're good enough, people should just come and kowtow you, you shouldn't be doing business today because people have so many other choices they can have. So you got to research, find the differentiation, back up by solid credential, and finally communicate. So let's look at what are differentiating ideas, because I've given you a few minutes kind of think about in your own business, what are the differentiating ideas for you. I want to share with you just through our own practice what are our differentiated ideas. For example, being the first. Now we are the first and only in Tennessee that performs laser cataract surgery. Everybody else at the moment still using blade to do cataract surgery. Being the first is a differentiation. And staying first. You cannot just be the first because you have to maintain enough vitality and substance to continue learn and progress and improve. So not only we were the first in Tennessee to offer laser cataract surgery, we still remain the only today. So staying first. Attribute ownership. And that's very important. Own a word. You know, one of the most successful differentiated business ideas, one of them is, for example, Xerox. Xerox, the company, has been so successful, the very company's name became the process. Kleenex. The company is so successful in differentiating itself, the company's name became the actual product. Owning a word. That's the ultimate dream. So in our own business, that we introduced the smart eye surgery. And smart eyes, we were first and still the only in Tennessee to offer for cataract patients. So smart eye surgery is a term that we created for the technology, and we basically own that word now. So no other business uses it. So ownership of a word is ultimate. Attribute ownership. And the leader. You got to stay differentiated leader. You have to always, when there's a new methods in doing business in your whatever business you do, financial, consulting, manufacturing, you have to get the best. Because if that's what your differentiation is, you have to pay the price and learn the process. Heritage is differentiation. Because people attribute institutions with established reputation, companies with long longevity as basis for trust. So that's a differentiation. So when we advertise, I put the school that I've attended. These are well-established schools, known. So that's a differentiation. Be a specialist. These are textbooks we publish in the field of cataract and LASIK surgeries. So we use those as a differentiation. Preference by well-known people is a differentiation. So if your business has certain people that, well-known folks that who use your business or service, then that's a differentiation. Such as Kenny Chesney, Dolly, Charlie Daniels, and also Naomi Judd. So I want to tell you two examples to show the point that differentiation does require sacrifice. We're all adults. We know that in life, there's nothing perfect. You always have to give and take. Burger King was McDonald's competitor. And one of the things McDonald's was very, very successful, Burger King was watching and realized something. McDonald's had putting all these slides and toy little park surround McDonald's. So Burger King saying, wow, we should do that too. So Burger King started building those little parks for children and kids. Got nowhere. Because that was the original definition of McDonald's. It's kids burger. Burger King sort of came on later, made sort of like adult burger. It's sort of a contradictory to an adult burger presenter or business to put slides and toys in there. You cannot forget your original definition. Another example is Coke. Coca-Cola, the original, very, very successful, was the first major soft drink. Then Pepsi came on. Pepsi, the differentiation was the new generation, the new soft drink of the young people. Clear differentiation. But Coca-Cola then watched, wow, Pepsi-Cola was successful. Let's do something. All right, what can we do? This happened about 20 years ago, as you probably remember. Coca-Cola came out with New Coke. Put on the shelf, they think, Pepsi, watch out, here we come. You for new people, we have New Coke. Disastrous. Got nowhere. Coca-Cola took off the shelf and studied. Said, what is it that we did wrong? Pepsi-Cola did the new people thing, they were successful. But Coca-Cola forgot its original definition. That is, it was the first major soft drink. There's a contradiction in terms between first, being the first, and the new. So differentiation requires sacrifice. Just like Burger King got to recognize, we're not going to play with the kid. Burger King probably should have what? Bookshelves, New York Times, if you're going to state the definition of the adult burger. You may have to forego a bit of a kids market. Same thing for Coca-Cola. You are the original. You are the first. You may not be able to capture this new Pepsi-Cola population, but that's the sacrifice you have to, if you're going to stick with your original definition. So Coca-Cola took it off and put the Coca-Cola back. But the damage was so severe, this was about 20-some years ago, as you remember, still the sale was sluggish, didn't come up. So finally, Coca-Cola kept on thinking, so what is it we have to do now? We put Coke back, still sale didn't come back. Then they realized that it's like a tree. If it was bent, the only way to straighten up the tree is to bend to the other side. So do you all remember what was the Coke that Coca-Cola came up with later to combat the negative thing that it created by itself? The classic Coke. There was an attempt to erase and overcorrect the problem the other way. So those are great examples in business to show two things. One, differentiation requires sacrifice. There's certain market is not your differentiation. You should not get in there, because if you do, they're contradicting your original definition, you're not going to be successful. And second, always remember, what is your original definition and stick with it. Sometimes then you have a business, you say, you know, I don't know. I mean, there are many, many people offering financial consulting. There are many, many people offer this manufacturing or this product. It's hard to differentiate. But be creative, because sometimes not just the end product can be differentiated. It could be the process by which the product is made can be differentiated. The process. The first toothpaste came out, whiteness. So it got its differentiation, whiteness. Second, business came out, it says anti-cavity. Okay, another toothpaste took that differentiation. The third toothpaste came out, said, oops, whiteness, it's gone. Anti-cavity is gone. It seems that there's no way end product can be differentiated, because two of the main attributes have been taken for toothpaste. So the third toothpaste company came out and said, all right, I cannot differentiate based on the final product. How about let me try to differentiate based on the process by which the product is made. So they came out fluoride. Does it really make that much a difference? Fluoride, no fluoride, we don't know. But sounds very impressive. It sounds differentiated. And it was obtained by creativity, because it's not the end product, it's the process through which this toothpaste was made, was used as a differentiating feature. So that's the first. Most businesses try to emulate what other businesses do, but first road less traveled is stay differentiated. Find your differentiation, stay differentiated. Second, road much less traveled is focus. Most of businesses keep on broadening. Say, oh, we're going to offer this, we're going to offer that, we're going to offer this service, keep on. Without realizing that at the time of broadening your breadth of line of product, you are concurrently at the same time losing your differentiation. Focus. Steve Jobs created Apple computer. And he was ousted by his own company some years later and brought back 1996, 97, because Apple was really not doing well. And Steve Jobs really turned the company around. When interviewed by Fortune magazine several years ago, reporters said, Steve, tell us, what is it that you made a difference by having come back to Apple and brought the company back? Steve said, you know, one thing I could share with you. We spend lots of time every day to studying what should I do, how about this business idea, how about that. I also spend lots of time thinking. But I spend lots of time thinking because I'm sitting here every day that people presenting to me new computer ideas. But I will study and figure out why I should not do that. I will study this idea, and then decide why I should not do that. So Steve Jobs has been able to turn around Apple because his focus. He didn't introduce many different products. He introduced few: iPod, iPhone, iPad. It sounds very simple. You say, well, Dr. Wang, I can be focused on business. But temptations are, very often, your competitors doing something else. And you say, I need to offer that too. Think twice. Increase the breadth of line comes with the sacrifice of. So, for example, we implement this idea. I came on LASIK market, need to offer LASIK, and needs to be differentiated. This was over a dozen years ago. And then there was this blade LASIK. And we differentiate ourselves with all laser, no blade. We're the first in Tennessee, and for 5-6 years, we were the only one. And today, we are still the only one in the state that offer complete laser, no blade at all. So in the process, I have been approached by many, many of my colleagues and business consultants say, Ming, you're stupid. I said, why? They say, blade is cheaper. There are more people can afford blade, and not offering that, you just lose so much business. I said, but I want to maintain my differentiation. What? To me, differentiation in this case means offer the safest and best. And that requires sacrifice. In this case, I'm not going to go back with a blade. However tempting it might be, however it might attract a few more customers, but that is not the differentiation of the business. Cataract surgery, same. When laser cataract became available last year, I jumped at it and became the first and still the only in Tennessee offering laser cataract surgery. Technology is still going through lots of changes. Everybody else is still using blade today in the state. So sometimes patient comes, they don't know about the laser, and they want the blade, or they are more used to, or the technology challenges, we have to improve the machine. Cost. So sometimes some business friends say, Ming, that's more cost effective, cheaper. I said, no. Once I found the differentiation, we stay with it. The patient comes to us, has fundamental comfort and the trust. We're going to have the best and only the best. Only what we offer to our own family members. That's the only thing we'll offer to our patients and nothing else. Because when a patient comes, they don't know enough medical information to tell the difference. So if I say, I'm only going to offer what I offer to my own family members at our practice, then that confers a fundamental level of comfort. So for example, this LASIK, the bladeless laser, and the laser cataract, these are examples of focus. Number 3, one message. I cannot tell you how many times when I look at different advertisements, different companies, kind of like as a learning process for myself, I found there's so much message in an ad. It's interesting. The psychologists, human behavioral scientists have studied that human beings are one-track animal, one track. If we go someplace, that's what I'm going to do. I tend not to get myself involved in any other things. Human being is one track. So marketing, we need to recognize. You have to find one message and stay with one single message. Everybody else, the road much traveled is multiple message. Trying to include everybody. No, one message. For example, our message, as an example of application, this is laser specialist. That is our single message. So if you say, Ming, tell me in one sentence, we are laser eye specialist. That's a single message. So that means I'm not going to offer any blade for LASIK or cataract surgery, the best technology. And we're the only center doing that in the state. So that's stay on. Step 4. The common road much traveled in marketing is sell, sell, sell. I have product, I need to sell, I need to sell, I need to sell. But road less traveled is don't sell. Educate. So as an example, these are textbooks. I mean, these textbooks are good in their own rights because they educate the doctors, ourselves, how to improve the technology. These are textbooks in cataract and LASIK surgery, some of the most widely used textbooks by surgeons today. So the educational process with the textbook does achieve solid goals in itself. But at the same time, in the context of marketing, that's also help differentiate through educating patients and doctors. So educate, don't sell. A road less traveled, road much traveled, most of the businesses try to sell product and tell them, oh, this is a service we offer, jump right at it. But at the end of the day, how does a consumer make a decision? At the end of the day, a consumer makes a decision based on not logical thinking, but emotions. You can recall so many times you decide to apply product. There's no particular reason. There are similar other providers, but you just feel good. You feel right. Your gut feeling said this company offers. There's no particular reason, but you just feel that emotionally you're pleased. At the end of the day, human being is an emotional being. You know, we actually, human beings, regard emotional achievement, artistic achievement, emotional, at the highest level of human achievement, not logical achievements. For example, you must have heard the expression that, this mathematician, the engineer, is so good that he or she it's almost like an artist. But I bet you have never heard the opposite expression. Say, this musician is so good, he's almost like a mathematician. You never heard that expression. Because in our mind, without even realizing it, artistic achievement, emotion is on the top. A logical being can eventually achieve that, but logical behavior is not necessarily the highest. So a mathematician can be artist, but an artist doesn't need to be mathematician to be great. Artist is greatest already. So in marketing, we have to realize this fundamental behavioral characteristics of human being and understand you have to always try to tell a story through which you sell your product, but tell a story. Emotionally connect to people you want to connect. Here I want to relate to you one example. The story of amnion membrane contact lens. The corneal blindness due to injury has been a worldwide problem. Very difficult. However, we know that 2-year-old break his or her legs will be up and running in 2 weeks, but a 90-year-old, same injury may never heal. The younger the person, the better. Actually, who heals the best? Unborn child. In fact, today, if a child has spinal bifida, a spinal cord congenital malformation, the doctors can actually take the baby out in midterm gestation, take the baby out from mother's womb, repair the spine, put the baby back, close the uterus, and deliver the baby 4 terms later. And the magical thing is, when you deliver that baby 4 terms, there's no scar on the back. Perfect healing. A fetus can regenerate and can heal without scar. And in adult, we heal with scar, a process called fibrosis. It's interesting to speculate why. And one of the reasons is in adult world, dirty, harsh environment, if you get a cut, your priority of healing is speed. You got to heal fast because otherwise you got to prevent bleeding and infection. So you have to heal fast. But the price you pay for the speed of healing is disorganization or scarring. But the little baby in mother's womb, if he or she got injured, there's no hurry. In a nice, warm, sterile, fluid environment, the baby can actually afford to regenerate layer by layer, heal without scar. The question is, how can we do research then, understand the fetal wound healing without touching the baby? We sure would like to know how the baby can heal without scar to benefit adult patients after eye injury to restore their sight, but we cannot tell any part of the baby. Science and faith sometimes always come into clash. I'm involved in video project that at Harvard University, the national student project, many students from hundreds of universities participating. Right now, submission is by the end of this month. And the title of this video competition, national, because the winner of the competition will be introduced to Hollywood producers and movie makers. They're going to have great career as movie makers. So one student approached me recently, said, want to do a story. I said, why do you approach me? He said, it's because of the title of the competition. Guess what, the title competition? I was very impressed. This is out of Harvard University, and presumably, you know, in many of those intellects that in their minds, not so much the presence of God. The video competition, Veritas, truth, is science and faith, friends or foes. So he came to me, he said, Dr. Wang, I want to do this project because this amnion membrane contact lens is a great example. Because do we do research without moral, ethical, faith, conscience? No. Especially as Christians, we should not do that, never do that. But it may be easier for us to say, though, but when you face with Ronald Reagan, who died from Alzheimer's, Christopher Reeves, who died from spinal cord injury, Michael J. Fox, suffering from Parkinson's, and knowing clearly that stem cell research could one day offer perhaps the only hope of treatment. When you're faced with that patients, what would you say? No research? Don't help them? What should we do? Is the world created by God is contradictory as such? There's no solution. I saw Dan sitting there, One Nation Under God, the program, radio. I was asked on Mother's Day a few weeks ago, to talk about this. And I told Dan it was a perfect program to talk about on Mother's Day. Because we have to find a way. I firmly believe God does want us to do research, but also He wants us to do it right, in His way. But in this case, the fetus can heal without scar, but I cannot touch any part of the baby. What's the solution? It seems there's no solution. James 1:4 says, perseverance must finish its work so that you may be mature and complete. Persevere. Persist. Don't give up. And this started actually 16 years ago when I was a student, this whole project. And I was at that point. I said, God, what was the answer? I want to help the adult patients heal after injury without scar, like a baby, hopefully, but I cannot touch any part of the baby, so how can I understand how the baby heals? Bible says, persevere. Don't give up. Continue. The right solution very often is the more difficult one. So I was at the bottom of the whole, I was about to give up the whole project. I said, no, there's no way. We can't study fetal wound research, healing research without touching the baby. And I'm facing with these blinding patients and nothing we can do to help. As a Christian, I cannot violate my faith and Christian principles. So then we stumble upon the amniotic membrane. The membrane holds the baby before birth, and after the baby is born, and the membrane is discarded. So the idea is, perhaps by transplanting the membrane onto an adult injured eye, recreate a fetus-like environment that may help the adult baby heal without scar. Tapping the fountain of youth. So these are a few pictures. How we harvest, there was 16 years ago, I went to the OBGYN ward. I got mothers donate this placenta with the membrane, process in the laboratory, put the membrane in a bottle. But the membrane has its limitations. You have to have these membrane covered within a short period of time after injury. But if you have the suture and others, it's very difficult to do. So we came up with this idea, that's about 14 years ago, a contact lens. Make this membrane, the baby membrane, into a contact lens. So we obtained US patents. And we made the world's first amniotic membrane contact. We published the paper and also start product development. And this is the final product. Recently just came out. After 16 years of journey. God said, I didn't tell you it's going to be easy. Right thing? It's going to be hard. And we all celebrate this scientific achievement. The product is out, now became the #1 product in the world today. used in just last few months alone by over 500 US eye doctors. And countless number of patients have their sight restored. And we have many staff here, some staff here today. They have seen those patients in the clinic. They have their sight restored. Actually, Channel 2 reported 2 nights ago. A patient who had blinding injury, non-healing ulcer for 7 months. Everybody has given up on her and thinks she's going to be totally blind irreversibly. We put a membrane on about a month ago, and in a TV interview 2 days ago, she's completely healed, she's smiling. She could see again. But to me, more significant than the scientific achievement is the validation of the belief that God has created this world and it is without contradictions. It may appear to be contradictory to us, mortal human beings, because we did not know better. The point is, the Bible tells us to persist, to continue. Don't give up. Believing that indeed there's a solution. I think the true test of faith is not so much when things are going well, the solution is obvious, but true test of faith is when things are not going well, there seems to be no solution. That's the true test of faith. Can we maintain our faith, continue at it, don't let up. So God wants us to use, in the fetal wound healing research, God wants us to use the amniotic membrane to study fetal wound healing, to benefit the adult without touching any part of the baby. So as we're celebrating, and research team very happy, the product came out, a 16-year process. And I felt that God was up there and looking down at us saying, see, I told you all. So let me show you, this is the membrane. This is magical. This actually came from an amniotic membrane surrounding a child before birth. And this membrane onto a contact lens, this amniotic membrane contact lens. We put a numbing drop in this patient's eye, put the contact lens. This was also non-healing for 7 months. And she faced the imminent threat of permanent loss of sight. This was the membrane put on about 2 weeks after that. Healed beautifully. She's very happy. And through product like this, amniotic membrane and others, we also have a ministry internationally, our foundation. Today, the foundation has helped patients from over 40 states and 55 countries with sight restoration performed free of charge. We also have a Bible project, as many of you know, China Bible Project, very active. Bring the teaching of Jesus Christ to a country where 95% of the 1.5 billion people are not Christians yet. So that project has the potential to recruit for God's kingdom, quarter of human population. This is our event, Eyeball, you're welcome to come. So amniotic membrane contact lens, this story is about tapping the fountain of youth. It's a biological technology to bring sight to the blind, but most importantly, demonstrate the principle that God wants us to do research. It improves the quality of lives, but He wants us to do it in the correct way. So this example, I want to tell you something because this is marketing. Because you just hear it. You hear about the product, you know the next time that somebody got injured, you might want to get helped. But see how I did it? I did the marketing through telling a story. Rather than just show up the first slide, oh, this product can help restore sight. No. Human being at the end of the day is emotional. So in this example, not only scientific achievement, as I said, it shows God does want us to do research, improve our lives, but He wants us to do it in the right way. So, in summary, the road less traveled consists of these 5 steps. Be differentiated. The true test of differentiation is if the name of the business is substituted, the message should no longer work. Second, be focused. If you're going to deliver a product, one line of business, stay focused. Burger King didn't for a while, failed, and Coke didn't for a while, failed. Third is one message. Human being is one-track animal. You only dilute yourself by broadcasting more than one message. Number 4 is educate. Build the knowledge. Educate people. Educate consumers. Through the education, you're doing marketing, but not the other way around. And finally, realizing that human being is an emotional being. You need to emotionally impact them because they make the final decision of choice, not based on logical analysis, but based on how they feel. Romans 12:6 said, we have different gifts according to the grace given to us. All gifts and talents come from God. God works through each of us in different ways. We are differentiated, have unique gifts. But we need to know what they are. They say, with the right people, we can do the right thing. With the wrong people, we can never do the right thing. And we need to know that all the business activities, all the business success, at the end of the day, we derive our inspiration and our credit towards God. It is Him that gives us our lives, our ability to do business, and it will be Him continuously to give us ideas how you can differentiate your business, how can you market your business, how can you offer better service to your clients. I want to conclude this talk by inviting my good friend Carlos, and we'll play a few tunes for you with my Chinese violin. Carlos Andriga is a classical guitarist and composer. We'll play a few tunes for you. And
good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. How do you say in Chinese good morning?
你好. The first tune we will play for you is an ancient Chinese song called Big River. So sit back, you're about to start Friday's work. And I'd like to all of us reflect the gift that God given to each of us, the unique, the differentiated gift. And I'd like to all of us close your eyes, just enjoy this piece that came from ancient China, from the opposite side of the globe. Big River. Imagine a fisherman got up in the morning, put a boat in the water, let it sail down the river into horizon. Carlos is from Puerto Rico playing classical guitar. From China, Chinese American playing Chinese violin, erhu, which is an instrument with a soundbox cover with a snake skin, with a pole with 2 strings only. So the bow can only hit 1 string at any one time. So by definition, it cannot produce harmony because it can only create 1 sound at any one time. So the challenge is how do you produce music on a dynamic range and expressivity with such a simple instrument. So he's going to play classical guitar, Puerto Rican, Chinese American, Chinese violin. So we'll play for you, logically, an Irish song. Quickly. Thank you. We'll play another song from another country. amazing group. Thank you for the opportunity. And I hope that we all can think about how we can do a better job in our business marketing and based on Christian principles. And the last song we play for you, we'd like to invite you all sing together. You may be sitting there thinking, oh, what Chinese song do I know? No, you will know this song. This song is about someone that we all should be thankful to, and that's why we are here today. First we'll play, second time we sing together, third time Carlos play, the last time we'll sing together again.